Yo people, welcome to my podcast Life Adventures Taught Me. In today's episode I will be talking about my second student exchange in Poland. In the previous episode I spoke about my first student exchange in Spain, so today's is my second in Poland, and the next two episodes I'm gonna talk about my other two exchanges in Austria and Czech Republic. Sorry if in the background you hear my dog barking, he's waiting for me to go to the garden, but this morning I was a little bit lazy, so he's like an alarm for me, and I tried to make him silent, but it didn't work. For the new listeners, my name is Alex, and this podcast is about my life experiences in general. So let's start with our topic. Why I chose Poland? Well, the first year exchange I went by the program Erasmus, and then it's really hard to get the second student exchange with Erasmus, because the point is that more people have this experience and go through it, not one person more times. But that didn't stop me from applying, because I loved it how it was in Spain, and it was an unforgettable experience. So that's what motivated me to apply to all the places where I could. But at the end I didn't get any other Erasmus exchange, but I did get ceepus exchange. Ceepus is another program for student exchanges that I discovered, and it was mostly for Southeast and Central Europe. So that's where I got the scholarship in the ceepus program for Poland. I did 4 student exchanges, and first exchange was with Erasmus and the other 3 with ceepus. So let's say about the differences, comparing when I went to Spain, it's a Latin country, different culture, and now coming from Serbia to Poland there is less differences, because both of countries are Slavic countries. And as I live in a Slovakian village in Serbia, I understand Slovakian, so Polish language is quite similar to Slovakian language. So I kind of understood already more 50%, not more than 50, but 50% of their language I could understand already. I took a course also over there for Polish language, and we had a lot of fun, and I would say that it's a hard language for a person who is not Slavic. If you are Slavic, and as I have already some knowledge and experiences with similar languages, for me it was not that hard. There was an interesting word that we were learning on the class. So in Poland they say with cheese they say serem, where in Serbian it means I'm shitting. So in every language you can find this kind of examples. And what's even the worst is that my professor, she asked me to repeat after her this example, because I was laughing 3 or 4 times, and it was ridiculous. Comparing weather, I would say they are a little bit colder, or a little bit more colder than Serbia, because Serbia is more on the southeast of Europe, so they have a little bit colder climate, but not too different. There is one thing that I have noticed when we were coming back from clubs after partying. It was around 2 something, around 3 a.m. and the day was already starting, and that for me was I know in Serbia the day starts at 4 something, I think in the summer, the longest days in June and July, but I was surprised in Poland, as they are more on the north, even sooner. So the day was starting already around 3. I am not sure, but I think 2:50 that you could already see a little bit of light already. And also that explains when I lived in Dominican Republic, the day starts over there much later and lasts around normal 12 hours. It's in the summer from 7 to 7, so at 7 it's already getting dark. About the culture, there is a lot of alcohol. The same is in Serbia. I've noticed there is a really famous alcohol soplica. It's unique, a typical drink for Poland. It's really sweet. My favorite, I think it was hazelnut, I'm not sure, but I remember it was really sweet, and We were drinking every time at pre-drinking, and on the parties it was the main drink we were drinking. I'm really glad that I chose this country for my second student exchange, because here I met my best squad of friends from Italy and France. So saludos for them and for my friend from Georgia. Those were the people I was hanging out mostly in Poland, and I really have a lot of love for them. And I will use this opportunity to say that they are part of the group of the best people I met in all of my travels and that I still keep in touch with. So I really appreciate our friendship, and I can see how we all work from both sides, and we already met a couple of times. Wherever we go, it's always the best fun with them. And there is a thing that we always do, it's choreography. Wherever we go, we will do always some choreography. It's like kind of our thing. And while we do it, we really have a lot of fun. You can see in one of the videos, I will share the part of our choreography. So I escaped a little bit from the schedule that I was supposed to stick to, but it doesn't matter. So how did I arrive to Poland? I went from Serbia by bus to Budapest, Hungary, and from Budapest to Warsaw I took another bus through Czech Republic and Slovakia, and I've been traveling for 19 hours by bus, so it was really tiring, but it was a budget traveling option. I arrived around midnight, so I stayed in hostel, and the next morning I went to my residency where I did all the registration process, and they gave me the room. I shared my room with one of the best friends over there from Spain, saludos for him too. And I would like to mention all other people that I was hanging out with, but there are really many, and most of them are from Spain. And I want to say saludos for all of them, so nobody feels left out. What I can say is that at this exchange, I really had a lot of fun, and I really had good friendships. Good friendships when I compare it to other student exchanges, here we were hanging out really a lot because we stayed at the residency and we lived all close to each other, so we were hanging out a lot and really often. So the most of the things we were doing throughout the day, we were doing it together. Another thing I want to say about this exchange that was pointing out, that's the ESN organization. ESN is Erasmus Student Network, an independent, non-political international association that was helping generally students that came for student exchange over there. So they were in charge of organizing our parties, taking us to places, organizing games for us, and if you had any problem you could talk to them and they would solve it really fast. And I want to say that they were really super organized. When I compare it to other 3 student exchanges, on this one the ESN organization was the best, and saludos to all of them. It seems like this episode is all about just sending saludos, but here, as you can see, I have a lot of people I met, and with a lot of people I was hanging out, and I really have a lot of love for them. So ESN organization, ESN people were really supportive. I need to give them credits for it because they did amazing work. Something that I forgot to mention before, this exchange was in 2019. It was from January 2019 until the end of the June 2019, which makes it already 5 years ago. Daily life, how was it over there? Usually in the morning we would have classes at our university, and after the classes we would meet with our squad and other people. We would hang out. In the evening we would have like pre-drinking, or we would meet in a room or a flat from one of us before the party, and we would hang out over there, and after that go for party. The class where we were partying the most were Cubano, Teatro Cubano, and Park Club. I forgot to mention that this exchange was in Warsaw, Poland, so in the capital of Poland. And what are the most common activities we were doing throughout the day? We were visiting the city, different places, different cities around Poland, and also trying different restaurants and typical food from here. Typical food, I remember pierogi. I really like them, delicious. And I remember once with VSN people we organized making pierogis. It was a lot of fun. And another thing that I noticed that is different, that in Poland there are many Georgian restaurants, where I didn't see so many Georgian restaurants around the Europe in some other countries. So in Warsaw, in Poland, I saw many of them. The words from Polish language that were repeating a lot in my mind were przepraszam. I heard it the most of the time of angry grandmas passing by in the bus. They were all the time like przepraszam. So I moved so she can pass. And another thing also from the bus that I heard a lot, it was a couple of words. Następny stanek. Następny stanek Ursynowska. Something like that. It was the station where was our university, so it stayed in my mind. Not so good. I'm sure like this chemchenche word, like the next, the word that means next, I didn't remember it good, but you can write it in the comments. How it's correct to say, I would really appreciate it. Ja mówię po polsku tak sobie. So there were not so many language barriers, since I understood quite good the Polish language. So for me it was not harder. Maybe for other people from other countries, yes, but for me it was not a big challenge at all. When I compare schooling, I will compare with 4 student exchanges with 4 different countries, and also in Serbia as the 5th country. Polish people, they study more than Spanish people, that's for sure. And I would say it's like similar as in Serbia. I cannot compare, and as I remember, I was at the university SGGW, Szkoła Główna Gospodarstwa Wiejskiego. I heard some people saying like, oh, that school is easy. So I don't know, like from my experience, I've realized that Polish people, they study more than Spanish people, and similar to Serbian people. I cannot give more fair information because I have only studied over here and I was on a student exchange, so it is not the same. About the mentality of Polish people, I don't know, where I was hanging out there were younger people, and the places where I was moving, people were really nice, but I would say in general, when I looked at the random people, I wouldn't say that they were in a mood. So I guess less sun, less good mood. But that was not the case with Polish people who were hanging out with us. They were really cheerful. One of the favorite places, especially when the warmer weather came with the summer, was the riverside next to the bridge. I don't remember the name, but the riverside of the river Wisla. And we had a lot of parties over there, and in the last months when it was warmer, when summer has already come, so a lot of nice memories from there. So I would point out as one of the favorite places from Poland. Maybe for Polish people it is not, but that's where the most of my memories are from. And also the residency where we were living. I lived in the first building, Grand, and the most popular for parties, pre-drinking, was the building Hilton. But since I was in the building Grand, the Grand was the best. The good thing was that the residency and the university were at the same spot. It was really huge place, but everything was, when I needed to go for classes, courses at the university, I could just go by foot. It was from 2 to 10 minutes depending on in which building you have the class. Before going to Poland, when I was checking the cities around the country, I said the city I'm gonna visit for sure is going to be Gdańsk, and that was the only city actually that from my list I didn't visit. So a bummer for me. But the other cities that I have visited, of course the capital, the city going for sightseeing around many times, Kraków, Wrocław, Poznań, Katowice, Łódź, really weird name. Also Szczecin and Lublin. All of them had nice small city centers. Some of them had castles. And I think Poznan, it was the center or the central part was separate with some river or some lake, so it was like from a fairy tale. It was a really nice place, but I would point out, of course, Krakow with the city, which has a lot to offer with touristic attractions. And with my squad, we went for the trip to Oslo, to Norway and Sweden. It was for a couple of days. So we rent a car and we were going around the coast from Oslo to Sweden. We rented a cottage in the forest and it was like a really unique experience. And I remember there I had one dream come true, but not that I was like wishing for something, but the dream that I was dreaming since I was 6, the dream that was repeating about some lake in the forest and some road that I needed to take. So at this trip in Sweden, near this cottage, I had this dream that it was quite similar things that I was doing when I was away. The surrounding and everything was like from my dream. And the reason why I didn't visit Gdańsk is because the same weekend a lot of our friends, they went to Gdańsk, and the same weekend we organized this trip to Norway and Sweden. I remember the event with my friend UG. We were entering the Baltic Sea in Norway just for a short swim, but the water was cold as fuck. I never entered a water in my life, colder water than that one. And I thought that I can swim, I can manage it. But when we entered, all the muscles, they started like to get crunches and it hurt so bad. So we were just 10 seconds and then we were screaming and running out from the water. And to connect to the story, I mentioned that my other friends from the exchange went for a trip to Gdańsk while we were in Norway and Sweden. They were going to Gdańsk because previously, before that, we had a competition between universities of Warsaw. We were competing in 3 sports, in basketball, football and volleyball. All 3 of sports I mentioned I love. And Warsaw, and actually we won this tournament, this competition. We were the best, so as a university team we won the trip to Gdańsk. Unfortunately I couldn't go there, but it's still on my list. So at this competition I really felt fulfilled because I can say I contribute a lot to winning the first place of this competition. But I remember in football, like with other universities, we lost the match. In volleyball we won, and then with basketball we needed to decide, and I remember how tired I was. It was really tiring since I was not stopping to run and I was not in the best condition. So I was so out of the breath, but I gave my maximum, and then at the end, the last minute, I threw the ball and actually we won with the lead of those points that I reached in the last minute. So when I remember this exchange, this is one of the first things that I remember. One of the moments in my life that I felt the most fulfilled. I felt so happy, and I really liked the squad we had and the team. All the memories from this competition really stayed in my heart, and I will never forget them, and every time I think about them, they just fulfill me with all good feelings. Also, some other trips that I made, trips to Lithuania and Latvia, and the first thing I remember from there, I think it was Riga. It's the capital of Latvia. The sunset at the Baltic Sea we had, it's one of the most beautiful I ever had, with birds, and you will see the photos, you will recognize it. The sky was super colorful and it's one of the most beautiful sunsets I have ever seen. And another trip with another squad, I did trip to Germany, and on that trip we went for Poznan, Wrocław and Berlin. We had a lot of fun. The interesting thing about this trip is that we were sleeping only 2 nights in a hostel because we were all budget travelers. It was so tiring. A lot of good memories from there, but it was really tiring because we didn't sleep for 2 nights. One night we slept in some bus station and the other night we slept in some park. So it was one of the most memorable trips, but also one of the most tiring. And finally, the last trip we made. It was Masuria trip organized by ESN. Oh my god, about this trip I have really only good and positive comments. It was organized so well, we had a lot of fun. ESN, they organized game for us to fight each other with some pillows filled with air. I always wanted to experience the paintball, and that was the first time that I actually tried it, and we tried it in the forest, and it was so much fun. A little bit painful, but definitely worth it. Also, we had these little boats, pedaling around the lake and having also sunset over there. And also from the photos you will see from this Masuria trip, I will put quite a few photos because I found some folder my Google Drive accidentally. And it was so nice to go through it, and generally through all of these photos it brought me back all the feelings I felt back then. And I am really proud of this experience, and I would like also to thank to all of these people that were part of this experience. They contribute a lot to it, and they made this experience unforgettable. With the effort of the ESN and with the energy of all the people, this wouldn't be such a great experience at all. I didn't mention before, Masuria is the northeast part of Poland, where there is a lot of lakes, a lot of forests. There are not too many inhabitants, and that's where the nature is really preserved. And one of the most memorable things from Masuria were the mosquitoes. But with the alcohol we drank, it was manageable. But yeah, those were the students' years, crazy years. Right now I don't drink that alcohol at all, but even on the exchanges they were really calling me out like, oh, you drink so little. But for me, I just need a little bit of alcohol and I will get drunk, like half of a glass of wine or one glass and I'm already there. So people were always commenting like, oh, you don't drink that much. Actually, I don't like that alcohol at all. So what I wanted to say, I don't want to promote drinking alcohol. Sometimes it's okay with your friends, but I would encourage you to avoid it because it doesn't do too much good on us. Wine is healthy, but yeah, with my podcast and YouTube channel I want to promote healthy life, but I wouldn't be true to myself and to you and if I don't say the truth how it was. An interesting thing that we had a lot of parties on Monday and Wednesday, which is not typical for making parties, especially Monday, but I remember, I think it was in the Park Club on Monday or Cubano Teatro. I would encourage you, if you're a student or you will become a student in the future, to consider participating in a student exchange because it will give you unforgettable memories, it will spread your friendships, and it will make you more open-minded. You will learn many things that you will not learn if you just stay at the university where you are. More information you can find on the sites of the Erasmus and ceepus program. If you cannot find it, you can send me a direct message and I will forward it to you. And for the people who are not students or not becoming students, if they cannot participate in student exchanges, I encourage you to go for different experiences where are international people, where you can exchange about your culture, about you in general, exchange your vibes with other people. There you will learn a lot, and I definitely encourage you to go more towards those things because it will contribute a lot to your personal growth and development. You will be enriched by many different experiences that you were not planning and some that you were planning. From your point of view, you will see the life from a different way thanks to these experiences. An advice, I know anytime when we are getting into a new environment, new things, we all have a fear of unknown. Just like, don't think too much about it because then you will let more your fears enter your head. Just go for it and organize it and throw yourself out of your comfort zone. If you're not confident with your language, it doesn't matter. If you speak English like only the basics, it doesn't matter. Just go for it, and that's how you're gonna learn and improve in the things that you want. So get out of your comfort zone. Be brave, do a change in your life towards the directions you want to go. This is where I would like to finish today's episode. Thank you very much for listening. In the next episode, I'll be talking about my next student exchange in Austria. If you would like to hear more stories from my life experiences, you can follow my podcast Life Adventures Taught Me on Spotify or on my YouTube channel, Facebook, TikTok. You can find the links below, and talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.